Hey guys, my name is Swait, and you know I like to challenge myself when I play Civ 3. But the ultimate challenge, of course, is Civ difficulty, and at least on this channel, I've never done it right, you know? I want to do it like a full game, single player, not a stream, just a regular video, playthrough of a game of Cid for Civ 3, no exploits, or at least none of the ridiculous ones, and no reloads at all. Zero reloads. So yeah, this is going to be that game. So as you know, Sid difficulty is notoriously difficult. It's like even from the second highest difficulty, it's like the AI will produce things and grow and tech 50% faster. It's just ridiculous. So we need to re-roll a few starts. So this game, I've recorded the commentary after I recorded the game itself. Um, if you're hearing this, what that means is I got a good game going. So we saw the map settings on the map or in the previous screen, and we're playing as the Iroquois. I tried some starts with Mayans, didn't have much luck. So we're going to try Iroquois. So the two things I am setting things up to make things more convenient for myself, you could call these a bit unfair if you want, but I don't see them that way. I turned off barbs, and we're choosing the enemy civs. You know, right? We can choose our own civs. Why can't we choose the enemy civs too? Yeah, but aggression's at the normal level. You see it's on Cid. Standard CFC settings. So cultural conversions are on, which is going to be rough for us. Scientific leaders are on, which is not going to be very useful for us at all. And yeah, this is the roster of civs we're going to play against. So all we need now is just to generate maps until we find a very strong map that we can play. And that will be the one we try to win. So I guess you guys are going to see what that looks like. And maybe, if we're lucky, we might see it just right now. Yeah, and this is the one. So what I did here first was I restarted because that was a terrible start. Let's cut to the good start. Okay, here it is. This is the start. Just FYI, this is at 1.2 times speed, so it's going to be a little faster than I actually play. And I'll be playing significantly faster here relative to how my videos and streams typically end up because I'm not talking as I'm playing. I'm just playing the game as fast as possible. Within reason, because it's Cid, I need to be very, very careful. So typically the pace would be slower than Emperor games or Demigod games or whatever. So triple cow and luxuries and cap. On this difficulty level, it's not likely at all we'll get the wonder, so I'm not even going to try for it. Like unless we have a monopoly on the ivory, I wouldn't really try for it. Yeah, happiness slider, of course. But the it's a good resource to have because it's a luxury and it's one of the faster luxuries to hook because it only requires just the four worker moves to walk to the Talon Road. Like if you got like dyes in a forest, it's like that's what is it four or five or six? Oh, I actually don't know because I always chop right because it's faster to chop and then road, but then it just adds up to being so much. So the Iroquois are just like a disgustingly overpowered civ, and that is most apparent on the highest difficulty levels. So we're just opening straight into settler here because we have the agricultural bonus that makes us grow faster, and we have cows which give us extra food to make us both grow faster. We have not scouted at all. We're just going to pray. We're not actually playing against any other civs that spawn with alphabet. That's the reason I chose the civs that I did, so that we have a monopoly on alphabet. So we could scout and try to meet the other civs, and we're going to do that eventually. But for now, we're just going to let them come to us, and then once a few civs meet us, then we'll trade away alphabet. We don't want to wait too long, because then they might even be halfway done, but if they finish it, that's a disaster for us, because they'll just trade it amongst themselves. Yeah, so 3 tiles away would give me tempo if I planted like a little closer to my cap. It would also make the worker moves a lot easier, because I could have just been on the cow right now. But sadly, that's not how things worked out. We need to claim as much land as possible because we are playing on Cid, which means planting further apart, even if the city's not really any better. But I'd only really do 4 tiles away by that logic. And if we want to fill in the gaps in between, we can do that later. Just in the short term, we need to be staking out as much land as we can. So here's the Mongols, as we have seen. Niagara Falls it's on a river, which is just disgustingly good because we're an agricultural civ, and it does have the cow, which is plains cow, probably better than grass cow in a lot of cases, just because it's faster to irrigate the plains cow than it is to mine, like to get the same number of tile yields. It's faster. Now we see the settler here coming out from the Mongols. That's really annoying. So we're going to kind of body block them to stop them from getting right next to us. The perfect setup would be if we have a city in every direction towards the enemy. We don't want the enemy to have a border with our cap. It's kind of okay if they have one, but we don't want them to have multiple. One thing I like about the start is we're kind of tucked away in the corner here. I don't think there's anyone north of us unless we got really unlucky. So we should be okay. There's the Arabs. We now have Khan with two civs, and we don't mean anyone there. Again, we're body blocking. So now that we have two civs, we're going to trade this away. There's a few techs, right? We can get 3 techs for alphabet. Pretty good deal. Not as good as it possibly could be, but we'll take what we can get. And of course, I probably could have microed it a little bit more. You got like 1 gold on Sid. All right, there's only so much you can do. You need to take whatever advantage you can where you can get it. But that's okay. So yeah, new settler coming out. So he's walking towards the Mongol settler's walking towards the wheat. We're kind of gonna hope. That they don't plant the wheat. So we're gonna body block one more time. And then thank God they plant there. That's manageable because we still get the wheat then. And that's actually nice. You'll see what we do later, but oh God, that's Sid for you. Yeah, they just walk halfway across the map to plant right in your face. So we're playing an 80% water map, which you'll see the advantages of later. In the short term, we can trade, but the expansion phase is brutal on this difficulty level with these settings. So we have to do what we can. So if we'd held off a few more turns on alphabet, we would have been able to get maybe masonry or the wheel. It's a shame. Yeah, but it didn't look like we were about to meet anyone. This is really weird that we did. Okay, and at this point, we'd try to do this trade deal to get masonry or the wheel, but even if we turn off all our tech and like set everything as we need it, we can't get it. So, wait, did I from Babylon? If I trade away alphabet, I can get the. No, I do that. I must do that. Yeah, yeah. 22 gold and a foreign worker is really really good. Great. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Anything to get like a food advantage to catch up in food with the AI is massive. So with that the seller to the south, yeah, this lets us hook the ivory. Makes it a lot easier for commerce in the long run. Yeah, this second settler to the south, it claims out all that land, so we won't have the AI or we won't have the Mongols planting any closer to us. Now that we have all this gold, we're like, yeah, can we try? And we're not even close. Yeah, if I might have like tried to finagle some stuff a little bit more. If it said like we were close to making a deal, but no, we were not close to making a deal. That's okay though. So yeah, the nice thing about the terrain here is that if I just like place 2 units on the 2 tiles near near southeast of Niagara Falls, I can stop the AI from planting it. So just 2 warriors, and then I can send my settlers out elsewhere to claim other land, and the AI will not plant that because they can't plant on top of the mountain, and they won't plant 2 tiles away from my city. Yeah. So Grand River is on the river, of course, because of the name, but it would be a massive mistake to not plant it on the river. So keep that in mind, guys. But if you have the egg bonus, the river is very, very important. It would be nice to scout north or maybe scout south of the Mongols, but that's not how things ended up. If I set this up, I could maybe try to block the Arabs a little bit better, but they do have that settler right there. Anyway, if we get the warrior on that hill, then that would complete the staking out that piece of land, which is a nice city to have. That one we weren't going to get, and if we did, we'd never rode to it before we lost it. So, yeah, you see how dense this is looking for the Arabs. They have 4 cities in our direction, if you count Damascus, I guess. But we can still get a city to the north, and we can plant towards Kufa. So as long as he doesn't plant any closer, then we do get our dream. Always important to do checks like this. I can get iron working. Yeah, so you see if you can do a cascade. Like if I can get like masonry and then trade that to iron working with the Aztecs or sort of with the Mongols, that'd be quite good. Um, But if I remember correctly, that was not the case. So right now we're just trying to claim land. We're trying not to fall behind in tech. With those 3 techs at the beginning, it became a lot easier. This is one of the reasons that Iroquois is just such a good civ, because you start with alphabet. It's really just as simple as that. So as the Celts, it's brutal because you start with like the 2 cheapest techs, so trading is bullshit. Also, a lot of civs start with pottery because it's expansionist civs or agricultural civs will start with pottery. So what all that means is that you have no advantage in trading unless you get really, really lucky with trading those 2 starting techs. So you're going to be broke, and then you still need to go for your unique unit, and then your unique unit is so expensive to upgrade that you've just lost the plot completely. With this civ, like you see, we're doing writing at minimum speed. Like we will eventually get to writing, and then hopefully we can trade that away to other civs, and we can trade it in exchange for techs like the wheel and horseback riding. In fact, just getting the wheel alone would be fine because then we can build chariots. Chariots upgrade very cheaply to our unique unit. But the Celts need 2 techs to get to ironworking. I think they're a bit more expensive, um, and much harder to trade for because they're not getting writing. So if they do ironworking, then they're just fall behind completely on tech because the AI prioritizes ironworking pretty highly, and they do not prioritize writing. Okay, settler in 1. At this point, you see why if we were this would be a lot harder if we were playing with barbs on. I mean, often the AI will just kill the barbs for you. Yeah, at this point, do I do the trade? I don't think I need ironworking. Yeah, I think I must just like make the call that this is just not fucking worth it. Do I do it? Do I actually do this? I guess it lets me use ceremonial burial because at a certain. Wait, could I get the? I can get the wheel now. Is the wheel not cheaper? I really hope I don't do that. Okay, good. Yeah, I see the wheel. Okay, yeah, that's and the wheel's kind of worth it because it helps me set up my play for my golden age. Yeah, this is much better. It doesn't completely bankrupt me. Okay, good. I got the wheel. And do I have horses? Look in the map. Do horses appear? Are there horses here? I don't see any horses. There's the horses. So there's one up in Kufa. He planted those horses. That's why he planted so close to me. But there's also horses in Grand River, so it's okay. So great. I'm set up to build my unique unit at least. See if we can get that going. And I do have one more tech. I paid quite a bit of money for it, but that's okay. That's what the money's for. We will get writing in 21 turns. That will just be a free tech, basically, because we've been saving all our gold until then. This is a very important strategy on Sid, but also as low as Demigod. One thing is that you don't really realize this, but like as you go up in the difficulty, you see that it's not that the techs get cheaper for the AI; they actually get more expensive for the human player. So techs are just very expensive. So the maximum tech time of 50 turns becomes a much better deal the higher difficulty you go. Um, Yeah, and it might feel like they are definitely text faster on higher difficult levels, but that's because they're growing more. So I walk a little further here to get the additional land. Like I go northwest instead of west. West would have got me the whale. Yeah, fuck it. I don't want to lose the tempo, and then it stakes me out less land if I do that. So more important to stake out the land than to optimize the tiles. There's nothing less optimal than a tile that belongs to the enemy, right? So we'll make do with what we have. Always focus growth. You see, I've walled off that city southeast of Niagara Falls. That should be a safe, guaranteed city for me. I'd love to place it on the hill, but if I do that, then I'd lose the wheat when he border expands. So the defense bonus is nice, but we're gonna plant on the floodplains eventually. Kura, yeah. Looks like our. Let's see what happens with our scouts, the warrior scouts. We're getting some good information this way, but Yeah, what happened? I guess one of them walked home. It felt like we had a few scouting out. Yeah. And now it's just down to the one. There's not going to be anyone up there. So it's good that there's no one up there. But it'll mean there's a lot of land for the Arabs that they kind of cutting me off in that. Yeah, you see, I'm not going to be able to like leapfrog over the Arabs. So I have to hope I can conquer that land off of them. Okay. So you see Grand River because Grand River. So my rule generally is I wait till there's no corrupted second shield. Sorry, I wait till I only have one shield, and then I do start doing worker every 10 turns from the new cities. I guess it'd be worker every 7 with the egg bonus. But here in Grand River, even though it gets 2 shields, I do the worker. Yeah, I barely am able to get those furs. Yeah, I don't mind planting 2 away. That's fine by me, but almost missing the furs was brutal. But the issue with Grand River is it gets to size 2 and 3. It's like using shitty tiles, and the growth slows down um, at higher populations because it only has plains tiles. Like it's being really helped by the egg bonus, but the egg bonus isn't going to be there for a while. So I'm doing 2 workers out of Grand River to maximize my food count. If I did a settler, it wouldn't really go anywhere. I guess it could go to the eastern city, and then the one out of Niagara Falls could go somewhere else. But yeah. Same thing, Alangani is doing workers. But yeah, so if I did settler in Grand River, it would grow to high population counts, and at high population counts, the growth would slow down, and I don't want that to happen. The game's all about maximizing population in different ways. Single player and multiplayer are both like that. Population is everything, right? Population is shields, population is commerce. Fuck commerce on its own, screw shields on its own. If you have the food, everything's going to work out in your favor. And of course, it gives you workers and sellers. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why agriculture is so good. Sorry, the agricultural trait is so good. I have to choose now. Am I going this way or the other way? I don't want to go around that horn to the north, so I decide to go this direction. There's the Zulu. And I can't get anything off them, but in 10 turns I'll have writing, so things should be a bit better then. So doing barracks in Niagara Falls, my read is that I'm done planting cities. Like I'm gonna do one more to get the one near Kufa. Yeah, that's like really freaking dicey that I got those furs at all. Yeah, it's gonna be the one out of Cap. Actually, no. Yeah, I decided to do barracks and Cap. Where's that last settler coming from then? Grand River. Yeah, I could plant like a city 2 southwest of Grand River. That would be fine, I guess. But I'm trying for early conquest here, and I haven't decided yet whether I want to go for the Mongols or for the Arabs. Oh, the Arabs would be nice, just because they're in my freaking face like that. We'll see though. Kufa's also on a hill, and so is that northern city, so it's a difficult target. But I mean, we do have the tools for the difficult task. Yeah, the city's easy to pop rush out of Tonawanda because it has the floodplains. Predictable. How far do we have to go up? I get that far and I say screw it. Interesting that there's that much sea there. At this point, I'm thinking maybe there's like a continent to the west. Because these type of Pangea maps, typically they'll be Pangeas, but the game like twists itself up into knots trying to generate a map to my specifications, and they're hard specifications to meet because it can't give people just absolute crap land. Like it can't spawn you like in 25 tiles a desert. You need to have at least a 2 food, hopefully a 2 food tiles. Although I've seen cases where it didn't do that. So yeah, it also has all these specifications. So if you make the map crappy enough and 80% water, it will not know where to put everybody. So sometimes the Pangeas just do not become Pangeas anymore. They just decide, screw it. The map, the map generation process just decides to make it a basically a weird continents map instead. So that could be what we're looking at here, because do have that style of settings that might produce that. But it could just be a regular Pangea with an island, or just a regular Pangea. Okay, things aren't looking too bad. Mongols to the south of us clearly have not very good land. They do have that wines, which would be nice to take from them. Using the pop rushing. So pop rushing is just really strong. It is just, if you can do it, if you can get the full 20 shields from it, it's good. I mean, population is king. I mean, one of the reasons for that is because you can convert it to shields via pop rushing if needed. So you don't want to do it like too early, but it's good. Pop rushing is good. I wonder if you could chain pop rush down to size 1 a granary early in the game. That could be pretty good, actually. I've never tried that before in single player, but that could be some new tech to try. Yeah, we'll see some chain pop rushing later in the game. But it's a new technique, at least new to me. I'm sure some of the single player vets have been doing it. Um, that we used in multiplayer and brought into single player. It's been really useful. Scout needs to get on my line. So at this point, I decided to go west. Like, it's very clear that that's an island. Otherwise, it would have been settled by now, or there'd be like a unit there. So I'm just praying it connects to another island. Note that they do not like. I'm about to get writing. I think at this point, I've seen that they do have writing, which is a pain in the ass. But they don't have map making yet, so they can't settle that just quite yet. But they will. So the island there pretty much belongs to them. Okay, so we're going to do lit. Lit is not the most efficient tech to be getting, but it is the most um, likely to be ignored by the AI. And who knows? Maybe you can even do Great Library. I'm not. I'm not particularly trying for Great Library here. I'm trying for a military play, but yeah, on maps like this, the expansion end phase ends quite soon, so the AI actually does prioritize wonders quite a bit. On bigger maps, they will delay how long it takes them to do wonders. Yeah, at this point, I'm doing the check to see if they have writing, and I'm horrified to see that they all do, even the like the less advanced of them. But I think I noticed some discrepancy in terms of what take they actually have. Like, oh no, they just all everyone has everything. You can't turn that up. No, Suede, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, you just fucked for tech. But you do have the wheel. That's the one thing that you can stack chariots. And if absolutely necessary, I could just here's Germany also has rating. If I absolutely needed to, I could just buy horseback riding and then I'd have the extra like horseback riding is not that expensive. And I could just spend the money on upgrading the chariots. And then hopefully in the peace deals I'd get a better gets catch up in technology using peace deals. Oil Springs being naked is kind of sus. Allegheny, like that's super liable to flip. I decided not to do a pet temple because the temple does not actually matter there. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. Like, I guess it would change my global culture. Now that is troll. Like at that point, I'm just so far off. Like I'm not seafaring, so this is 2 tiles per turn. I'm like, and I've scouted the south there with the Mongols, and I haven't found anyone else yet. So I'm just saying, okay, fuck it. I guess I'll just go into the ocean and hope I find someone. And it doesn't look like I'm on pace to find anyone. We'll see. And I do not find anyone. No. So yeah, I just threw away that core. If I went around the north, maybe I would have found some more civs. It'd be nice to at least know what's going on the other side of the continent. Because there's all these civs that I like, even Babylon, I don't know what they look like. But hey, I've got a full picture of every single jungle city the Mongols have. So that's going, we got that going for us. Okay, so I do the barracks, including Grand River. I considered just like doing the units immediately, but it really pays off doing the barracks here. Especially since I can't build my UU just yet. Yeah, like there's diminishing returns on the chariots because at a certain point, like I won't have enough money to upgrade all the chariots, and so I'll have to wait for them. Whereas the barracks, that's good regardless. Like I need the barracks whether I do it now or whether I do it after I get horseback riding. Yeah, military police. Don't forget about military police. Very, very useful. I talk a lot about how good Republic is, but despotism, it's situations like this especially where you don't have that much corruption. Despotism is actually a very strong government. Military police is nice. Lack of war readiness is nice. Okay, at this point they're sitting on my fucking furs, so I can't hook it. And I'm like stuck down there with the Mongols. They're like kicking me out if I try to leave. God. Hard to even see their border because they're the puke color of the Mongol civ is the same color as the jungle. Yeah, do another round of check. I don't know what I'm expecting to see. Like, I guess if somebody has a tech that the other doesn't. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they have map making. So this is my play, right? I buy map making. I don't really need map making, but I can trade it to the other civs, and then it at least creates like a two for one, or really like a three for one, but it's an expensive tech. So turn this shit down. Can I get this? And I can. It's on the wire, but they'll trade it to me. You already did that, Suede. Okay. By the way, sorry for this meta stuff, but if you like this format, let me know in the comments. And I could do more of this in the future where I'm commenting on videos of my gameplay. I think the acceleration is good because honestly, I find single player Civ 3, at least for my attention span, if I'm not the one personally playing it, it just moves too slow. Especially when you're playing high difficulty levels and you have to like do careful trade deals. This one's not so bad because I'm producing something of value. And the process is good to know, but like sometimes you just dick around for 5 minutes and you don't find any trade that you can actually make. So I'm seeing what techs I can get. Two techs. Good. So this is a three for one at this point, and maybe I can get one more from another civ. We'll see. Horseback riding is an important one, though. Okay, and masonry, that unlocks math, which maybe will be useful down the road. And he has math. And just, I don't know why, but he is actually willing to pay us math. And then additional gold on top of that. Yeah, wild, isn't it? So this ended up being really good for us. And we didn't know that at the time. Like, there was no way of knowing that they had math and would be willing to like apparently it's worth less to them than map making somehow. So that's sick. Nice. Mysticism would be nice because it like would unlock poly and maybe we could do a similar trade deal what we just did with math for poly. But yeah, do the full check. We don't have any techs up in anybody. Good. Okay. So we got some of that gold back with the last leg of the trade deal so we can upgrade our chariots, which is good. And like I told you how cheap this was. It's only 30 gold. Which is perfect because I believe we have precisely four, maybe five chariots. Yeah. Let's still tech. And what do I do here? Do I turn that up? I think I turned that up. Yeah. I could have done like a scientist or tax collector there and it would have been okay. Okay. I'm -3, but I'm sure as my cities grow, this will stabilize. They're still standing on those furs. That is so obnoxious. Yeah, like Grand River's about to grow. Salamanca will actually hit size 7 and we'll get the commerce bonus. And as soon as that will happen, it should fix our finances. Because like 100% of our gold is going into our treasury. Like maybe, sorry, 80% of our gold is going directly into our treasury. So it's good for us. Hurrying production in Allegheny is a good idea because that city could flip at any moment. I'm not sure. I made that change there. I'm not sure if it gets us the barracks faster. I don't know. Maybe I was paying attention to that. We still want the option of building warriors, so we're not hooking the iron. We wouldn't really use the iron anyway. Like if we need an attacking unit, we're gonna build mounted warriors. If we have 30 shields precisely, we will build mounted warriors. If we don't have gold to upgrade, there it is. Okay, we got the first, and that's good because you see, like we're having it's not as bad as it could be, but we're having like a small money crunch right now. So getting that fixed would be nice. This connects like the southeast with the southwest. Having that road is good between Grand River and Tonawanda. We still haven't really decided who we're gonna go for. I really do like the idea of getting rid of Kufa, um, but that Mongol city to the south is quite strong too. Embassies would be a good option to have, but we just have to wait. So we just wait for the opportunity. At this point, we have enough to maybe take a city. If we pick one that has low defense, we'll see though. Yeah, just constantly tinkering with the finance situation just to make sure we don't go under. Like if we're not at risk of like losing buildings or anything here. Which if you really fuck yourself with trades, you can possibly do because we could always just do tax collectors if needed. But yeah, we don't want to do that. Then we lose population. So you see that city to the northeast? That was an Aztec city that was destroyed. I'm not sure if it was by. I don't think it was the volcano. I think it was from the Arabs. They've been busy guys. So you see this like stream of units heading south. What's actually going on is I don't know this yet, but the Arabs are at war with the Aztecs. They are fighting a war. That's why might be the reason why there's so many lands units and so many pieces of land. I didn't have any embassies, so I didn't see the declaration of war. But pretty soon we're going to see more direct evidence of the war, and that's a good thing to see, right? We see the Mongol units there. I'm not quite sure yet if the Mongols are fighting the Aztecs too, or fighting someone else and going through the land. But just having the random warrior there, just like giving us this information, is actually quite useful. Grabbing those two tiles and improving them, the ones that can be flexed. Sorry, I guess it's just the one tile. The one tile that can be flexed between the capital and Grand River is a good thing to do. We're looking for 10 shields per turn because if we get 10 shields per turn, we have mounted warrior per 3. But if we can get to 15 somehow, and we're not that far off from 15, like you see this here, I'm considering joining workers to get 15 shields per turn just to pump my production a little higher. Like we're an agricultural civ, it is very easy to come across workers as long as we have fresh water. But unit production and unit production soon is most important, even if we spend all our workers on it. We can get the workers back, easy to replace later. One mistake a lot of people make in single player and multiplayer is that If you use workers or if you lose workers, you can just build new ones. But people just stop building workers at a certain point. And so losing workers can become like a bit of a liability for them. But no, just keep in mind that it is a very small expense and that you can just easily build new workers after losing the ones you have. Yeah, at this point, I see the damage units and I'm like, okay, they're 100% fighting a war. Somebody's fighting somebody, and the Aztecs are fighting somebody specifically. Who are they fighting, right? I'm not quite sure yet. And I don't have the gold to pay for the embassy. So if you have an embassy with someone, you can see who they're in what deals with, but no embassy, you don't know that. So I just have to wait till I have that money to be able to see who's fighting. I guess embasying the Aztecs would be best. Like, yeah, because the embassy will help me see who they're at war with. So it's good if you want to declare war on that civ or someone that they're fighting, but also you can use the embassy for military alliances. Keep that in mind. So there's two purposes of the embassy. They're just constantly bouncing me back out of their land, so I can't go scout anything to east because of yeah. Catapults always good to have on hand. So in the cities that do not do barracks, they do catapults. Yeah, in Qatar it felt kind of troll doing the barracks because it's stuck on size 2, but it ended up being worth it. Yeah, I talk about the benefits of pop rushing. That's especially true because I have luxuries here. I have 2 luxuries. I see this. They enter the next era, so that's a warning sign because they do have iron. So that means they're going to get pikemen soon. Thankfully, the Arabs are not scientific, so there's no risk that they either pop the tech or pop another one, like pop something that they can trade for it. But still, it means very imminent that they get pikemen. And this is the window, right? Like, this is the key to Sid, that as soon as, like, people, it's almost impossible to do attacks once they get pikemen. It's true on most other difficulties too, but you don't want to be fighting ancient era wars into pikemen. It just becomes brutally hard. Okay, so I'm getting all these signals about when I should attack. I'm still holding back a bit. And now I have 15 shields per turn Salamanca because I joined those workers, you see. So pass back here. It's nice. At this point, fuck my gold. See all those juicy workers up there in Kufa. I guess I should be. Yeah. Seeing what I see now, I think the Mongols are a softer target like just right now. They don't have as many techs as the Arabs, I guess. The Arabs are stronger. It's nice to weaken them. Um, but the 2 cities to the north, those are hill cities, and that's rough. And that's a veteran spearman. I guess we could check if we wanted to see if the Mongol units were veterans or not. Okay, I finally got through the Aztec land somewhere, made some sort of progress. Mounted Warrior per 2. We're delaying this still. Maybe I could have just gone. But I want Kufa. Enormous thorn in my side. Very nice to get rid of it. Okay, you see we're producing quite fast. So I make a mistake at this point because I have plenty of units here in terms of mounted warriors, but I don't have enough support units. You need just random bodies in cities, just warriors, random archers, random spearmen, catapults too. I do have some catapults. But you just need random crap because there's going to be some attacks where you're, and this is when I see it, Calixhuelca or whatever. Yeah, so the Aztecs are just straight up losing core cities. I need to move. I need to hit as soon as possible. And Kufa is going to grow, right? It might hit size 7. If it hits size 7, it becomes much harder to take. And that's just pretty much permanent, right? Unless they pop rush out of it. So this is my goal. Next turn, we're going to go Kufa. It would have been nice to have them in position to like hit Anjar or Kufa. I guess Khorasan's no option too. I also wanted the road northeast of Alangeni. I'd been thinking about that, but I just like kept on messing up the worker moves and forgetting. Having that would just let me roll right into Khorasan, and that's not on a hill. So that would have been really nice to have. A really nice option to have. Okay, the nice thing about him planting in my face is that because his Kufa's in my orbit, it makes it a lot easier to defend. It's also like flatland all around it, which makes it easier for me to access. But also, like if he sends units to retake, then I can just snipe them with my mounted warriors. Yeah, so I get kicked out here. And I get a little closer. Good. Okay, this is the turn, I'm pretty sure. So, call up the Arabs. We don't need the alliance. They're already at war. They're already fighting someone. Mongols are fighting someone too. They're busy. They can't afford to get everyone at war with us. Just fucking go in for the kill. And I left. Yeah, I was trying to see. I turned on unit animations to see if I could see them fighting each other. I guess I need to turn on enemy moves too. Maybe that was it. So I go in now. I get the retreat off at least. Looking bad. Brutal. Going a bit better. Yeah, the first two results are not great, but then I start getting good rolls. And these are good rolls, keep in mind, because these are fortified on a hill. So you get a 75% bonus. So against the vets, I'm more likely to lose than not. But the ace up my sleeve is I can retreat. And I'm just winning combat after combat. He's got actually a decent amount in there. Clean up these workers. Workers are worth quite a bit. Always good to have more workers. You might think I can't defend my core against that boat, but keep in mind I've got 2 moving units. One of the superpowers of mounted unique units is that you just have more in defense. For all of this here, it'd be nice to roll into Khorasan. I probably would barely not have enough, so I decided to reposition. I can go for Basra. Even just raising Khorasan would be good, because he wouldn't really replant that because it's too away from my city. At the very least, he'd plant it further back. But most likely, he just wouldn't replant it at all, and I could even replant it later and secure the iron for myself. He does have another iron up north. It's going to be really hard to deny him iron. So we'll see if that's even possible. But good option to have. I don't know, maybe as a third iron beyond that. But like Khorasan's close at least, so one of them we can get rid of. And if we can keep him off iron, then yeah, it's just like dealing with spears, especially reg spears. They have a lot of reg spears. Shockingly easy with mounted warriors, even on the highest difficulty levels. Like if they were smart, they would just do walls and maybe a couple archers and just have a billion spears, because you know they have a billion spears. But no, if they have more than 4 or 5 in an unimportant city, they'll just walk it towards you, and then you can take the city. Okay, he has ancient cavalry. This is not fun at all. And now he's threatening our city. And this is where you see we made a massive error not having enough support troops, because if we had more support troops, we could just like sit on the mountains. We needed to, or like right now, hurry production on walls. Because at this point, this is just really bad for us, because he just can like take pot shots at us. He can just attack us from the mountain. We can't attack him on the mountain because he gets the bonus, and we have no defense bonus in Alangeni itself. So he can just freely attack us with high attack units like his mounted cavalry. Of course, he has swordsmen, and we can't do shit about it. So that was a mistake by me. I'm just bleeding out units every time he attacks me in that city. I like to brag about how I play. I like to talk myself up, but when I make a mistake, try to take accountability for it. And this is definitely one of those cases. I make a lot of mistakes in single player, to be honest, though. I don't have the patience for proper play. Okay, the northern city would be nice, but it's on a hill. I'm seeing Basra about to grow to size 7. Seems like a good target. I'm moving these guys up just so I have some options to put in Alangeni soon. Yeah, so at this point I've got 20 shields per turn in my cap, or like 23 or whatever. So I can do Archer per turn, or I can do Mounted Warrior per two. I'd rather have Archer per turn. So let's see this here. I think he pop rushed that. And we just get a series of good rolls. Maybe not. As good as we need to get them. So we raise the city. We cannot possibly hold that city, but we cut the roads here too. So like the bulk of our stack can get out. He can't attack most of our stack. Um, and keep in mind, even if he does attack the damaged units, they would retreat if they're losing. So we're getting catapults in there. Like the catapults are kind of a secret weapon because they're giving defensive bombard and they're doing something against the stack. As not as much as they should though. It's just like 2 damage per turn. And you see that now he's got a stack of 5 units. I didn't think it would be that bad. It's like 6 or 7 actually. Really rough here. So yeah, I could have just like done a spearman in my capital right now. Probably would have been a good idea. I'm just not taking the threat seriously enough. And here, I forgot about that, but luckily I get a good roll there. I didn't want to like just let him attack the city for free. But on the other hand, I didn't want to like have to attack with a bunch of 2 health mounted warriors and keep on losing. So they're not really a good option either way. So thankfully I got a good roll. Okay, putting units in to put down the resistance. Yeah, getting the commerce there. We are getting the spearmen in Niagara Falls. Yeah, and I get what the fuck do I need that for? I got plenty of mounted warriors. I need just bodies in the city. I just need units to hold down the fort while my mounted warriors go and kill stuff. Otherwise, I have to keep the mounted warriors at home, and they're not really good at being at home here. I could have just disbanded those, honestly. Maybe actually be a rep penalty for that. Who knows? So in Anjar, I'm actually seeing the Reg Spearman. That's a good target if I can like get my units there. He's blocking the roads, which really sucks. This is something at least though. The catapults. And I got an Arabic catapult from Kufa. Yeah, I remember that one. It's a nice one to have. The hubris of man. Check if he's damaged. He's not damaged. I just threw a unit away. Fuck me. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Like I'm not in position to do that yet. I only have 2 units that I can attack. What's wrong with me? Like I would need if he has 2 units in there, I need perfect rolls. If he has one, I guess it'd be really weird for him to have one on Sid. And if he has any more than 2, I'm just tossing units into a meat grinder, and I have no chance of taking the city. I do have the units in Alangeni coming up, but he's still taking fucking pot shots at me. It's really annoying. The barracks in Kufa is nice. Just like vet warriors are good. Yeah, that's not fun to see. Yeah, I'm doing the settler in tunnel 1 to replant, but he's gonna get there first. I check out my options. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that mounted warrior or the ancient cavalry. So if I can get peace deal next turn, that would be okay. So this is my read on things. I blitz Anjar. Yeah, just so I don't lose the road there. The city Kufa is kind of likely to flip. I probably could have put the 1 health guys into Alangeni just to hold down the block. I guess I wanted the faster heal. It shouldn't really matter though. I would have been able to pull out more units to Oil Springs for the attack. As things are, I should have a good number of units. Is that good? We'll see. Yeah, I might have messed that up. At least he's pulling units out of a city. So there's a big plain between us. There's a few wasted tiles in there, which on Sid is really relevant. Should probably plant those up, unless I go crazy with the conquest. But as long as you're not at the OCN, it's a good idea to plant cities. And on Sid difficulty or with 80% water maps, you're likely not at the OCN, the optimal city number. That's like this number of cities. It depends on the map size, but not the water quantity. But after the OCN, yeah, I lost 1 unit there, which is tolerable. The OCN just falls off, or corruption just falls off a cliff after the OCN. So I get good rolls here. Perfect. Yeah, not so perfect. Yeah, that could have been rough. I needed an extra unit or two. I should have let the spearmen pillage me, I guess. Okay, so in the peace deal, I check what the Mongols don't have, so I have some leverage in the peace deal. I can like ask for some stuff. Not enough for maybe the tech I want necessarily, but I can ask for the tech and give him gold in exchange for the peace deal and him giving me the tech. Weird how Civ 3 lets you do that, huh? But the one thing is that if I am giving him something for the peace deal, no, sorry, if he, maybe both. But certainly if he's, no, sorry, if he's giving me something in the peace deal, then what that means is that I'm bound to the peace deal. If it's like a white peace deal, I can just redeclare war whenever I want. So you see they have literature now. I got really fucked from techs. Like my teching hasn't really panned out very well. 28 turns from literature. um, and I'm only just getting it now. Oh, and then sorry, they already have it. But we can get currency and then we can trade it away to other civs. And not bad, right? We don't completely bankrupt ourselves. Keep in mind we're able to use our much greater bankroll. So because we're in Golden Age, we have a lot more income, and income is what we trade in exchange for these techs. And in case you're wondering, you can't trade more gold per turn than you have showing in the bottom right corner. Like you see the plus 16, that is the max I could leverage right now. So turn down your sliders before you try to make those deals. It's very important if you don't know that. If you want to do deals where you're paying gold per turn, turn down your sliders and then they'll accept gold per turn from you. Any gold per turn I offer past 16, like they'll take the gold per turn, but they won't give me anything better for it. Okay, so I'm able to get a few techs for currency. Code a lot. Like these are necessary techs for ear advancement. I saw the Babylonians built the Great Library, so that might be an option at some point. I said I would try to avoid exploits, so I would like to. I'm not sure if you count like ROP abuse as an exploit, because the game does punish you for doing that, so I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But we'll see if I can play the game without that. And certainly, there potentially I could maybe honestly get the. If I just do military alliances, maybe I can just get it on its own. Honestly, the Mounted Warrior is that much of a powerful unit, so maybe it'll get us that far, right? Certainly, like, it's not fun fighting into pikemen. Actually, if you have trebuchets, it's fine. Even if you have trebuchets or catapults, a big enough stack, it's fine fighting it into pretty much anything. Sorry, or infantry. Yeah, so if my military conquests go well, eventually that might be an option that I could go for Great Library that way. Or I could do ROP of use. Like, if the game's otherwise unwinnable, I won't not do that. But yeah, we have the peace deal. So that's it. We got two cities and we raised another. That's worth something. There's just like this empty bit of land to the north, so we might be able to plant that too. So that'd be like a three city gain from us, and it's like a really important city, Kufa. Like that's actually three away from all our cities, so it's like a good chunk of land. Has an extra furs. I have to be careful with that they don't demand it from me. Um, but yeah, we got two cities on Sid, maybe three, even if we plant to the northeast. That's a good pickup, and then we got a bunch of techs with the peace deal. And we are still in Golden Age, and we're still pumping out these mounted warriors. And this is why I don't like when people say that Golden Age in Sid is all bad, because it can be pretty good sometimes. Right? If you're producing the most powerful unit in the game, why would you not want to do that faster, even if you waste some shields in doing it? You waste shields if you're building any unit that is less efficient than the mounted warrior is right now. So I don't mind losing some shields to the despotism penalty if it means I can turbo stack these guys. So another thing to look forward to the next part would be I can try to bait them into declaring war on me, the Arabs, and then I would get the gold per turn back. I could also just go for the Mongols instead. But if the Arabs don't declare war on me, then unless I want to break my trade rep, I'm stuck having to fight the Mongols instead. So yeah, that's it for today. This is part 1 of our game. I will see you guys next time for part 2, and you can see where this ends up.